Welcome to the siege of a small dong city. I was fortunate enough to be invited up to London town to try out some of the new Three Kingdoms campaign as Liu Bei. I thought I'd show you some of the siege gameplay, as that is something a lot of us have been missing. I'm predicted a close defeat, but I've got my battering ram. I was digging under the walls, but I didn't really want to take the time to wait for that. But as you can see, we've got some full 360 sieges back, or 270 in this map's case. And of course this is something that was controversially missing from Warhammer for those of us who have played it. So it's nicer to have a newer Total War with the sieges back. Not quite sure how we take out gates. I wonder if it's the same as in Warhammer, where you can just hack it down with your heroes or even your units. But we'll see. So my army is Liu Bei himself with his sworn brothers Zhang Fei and Guan Yu. Most of the army is a mix of cheap spearmen and cheap melee infantry, some archers in there, a bit of cavalry. All the basic starter units. This is of course just at the start of the game. And I want to see if I can hide these archers over here. Doesn't seem to be actually hiding them, but of course this is early days footage, so do expect to see some bugs and things will need polish as we go. This is a few months old, this build, I believe, so don't judge the game entirely on this video, of course. Now when it comes to the armies, it's all about the warlords and the leaders of the factions. It's not about having different factions with all different units that are completely different to each other. It's more like Shogun in that way, for those of you who have played Shogun 2. Most factions units are all the same, with a few different ones just to jazz each kind of faction up a bit. It's sort of like that, but with DLCs and things coming in, that'll add more different kinds of troops, so you may start to see different factions coming into play. So let's begin this siege, get this battering ram on the move. We are going to have to take a bit of punishment from these arrow towers and things of the fort. So going to move another unit up with this lot, just to take some fire off them. Maybe we'll use some cavalry, just to draw some attention away from the battering ram, although we're going to need all our troops up there when the battering ram gets through anyway, so we might as well just all run up there. And somewhere about now, Dogbert came up behind me and told me that I could actually scale the walls with grappling hooks. So that's a cool new thing. We had ladders before in Warhammer that units could just kind of pull out of their arse and then climb the walls with, but in previous historical games you had to actually build the ladders before the siege, like you do the battering ram and things. But I put Guan Yu and some cavalry over here just to see if I can get through this gate and to draw some of the units away, which I have done successfully, so that'll just be a little bit less attention they can put over on this main wall. Let's get Liu Bei out there himself, get all this cavalry and Zhang Fei up. Don't want to take too much missile fire, of course, and I did have to try to reload about 20 times to get the AI to actually stay in their settlement so I could besiege it and make this siege somewhat fair in like an even amount of units, because otherwise it would have just been me steamrolling about 6 units. So I tried to make it an actual battle that I might lose, because they do have a pretty much equal amount of units. So Guan Yu's coming up to the gate. Let's see if he can do anything to it. Got some arrows flying down on his face. Hopefully he's not able to get through it too quickly, as this is romance mode, so he is quite powerful. It's not classic mode where things are a bit more normal and realistic. What does he do? In old Total Wars they used to just throw fire bombs and things at the gates, but it looks like they're actually going to attack it by hand now. See how this is going. Siege equipment's nearly there. Here we go, we can grapple hook up onto the walls. Gonna get my cavalry out the way though, we can get those through the door. Actually, if we can grapple hook over, we can just open the door. That'll be a lot easier because there's not a lot of troops over there. Let's get the cavalry to safety. Get Zhang Fei ready to enter the gate. He can get stuck into this crowd, which is where he will excel. Can't actually tell if the gate is open or whether we've smashed it open or whether it's open because they're running through it. Not sure what's going on. It is always a bit weird when the defender can open the gates and they can go out, but you can't go in. Grappling up the walls now though, that looks pretty cool. All the grappling hooks being used. And we are going to take a bit of a tiredness penalty from climbing that, I do believe. So it's not like a completely free thing, because you think, why would you ever need siege equipment? Well, if your units get really tired by the time they get to the top, they're not going to fight as effectively if there was anyone to actually meet them at the top. But the AI hasn't posted over here. They've gone for... They put a lot of troops over on Guan Yu. They're really worried about him, as they should be, to be fair. But he's only done 13% damage to that, so that is going to take a long time, which is good, that you can't easily get through the gates like that. We'll bring him around here, though. Have we got through this gate? I think my siege equipment stopped moving. We can't seem to get through. I'm confused because the gate looks open, but we can't get it. Liu Bei's not in there, is he? Okay, I don't think my ram had reached the door. Get on the ram. Somebody push the damn ram. We're mostly over the wall with the grappling hooks anyway. Here we go, we'll open this gate up. Then we can get our cavalry inside, and we can hammer and anvil the crap out of something. Now overall, I have been enjoying the Three Kingdoms that I have played. It's been pretty good, got that good historical feel, but still a bit more modern, because obviously we're working on a different engine. The charges are more crunchy, the animations look better, things move a bit faster, but not too fast I'd say. I think it's at about a good point at the moment. Getting most of my army through this door. But whether you're into Three Kingdoms, I think is really going to depend a lot on whether you were ever into the Three Kingdoms at all. For me, I grew up playing Dynasty Warriors, which is again based on the Three Kingdoms. It's based on the same people. I know who Liu Bei is, and Zhang Fei, and Guan Yu, and all these different generals. And if you grew up playing Dynasty Warriors, you probably know too, and you know where the hell I'm coming from. If you've read the Three Kingdoms novel, which I did as well when I was younger, then it really cements this kind of era into your head and makes you really look forward to it. If you have no interest in Asian culture, or the Han Dynasty, or this era, or the Three Kingdoms, then you may find it difficult to get excited about Three Kingdoms, but I'd advise you to go and try and learn stuff about it. The Three Kingdoms novel kind of romanticizes it, which is why we have this game and this romance mode in Total War Three Kingdoms, but it makes the characters far more exciting, gives them some character. They're not just like ordinary men. I mean, they're meant to be, but they did extraordinary things, and to some degree they probably actually did. It's the same way that all the Warhammer fans are really into Archaon or Karl Franz or Grimgor, is because there's lore there, the character has a history, you can learn about what they've done, who they are as a person or orc or whatever. And it's the same in Three Kingdoms. These were actual people. These are the actual Archaons, the actual Karl Franzes. And to me, that's what's exciting about history, is that you have people who actually did all this stuff. It's not just like today where we see it all in movies, and most of us, apart from maybe those in the military, will ever experience what it's like to take on a full-scale battle and understand feelings that these people go through. So yeah, if you're maybe not that excited for Three Kingdoms, go and read about Liu Bei. Go and read about what he did, what he tried to do. Read about Zhang Fei, read about Guan Yu, learn about these people, and maybe it'll spark your interest in the game a little bit more. Anyway, I'm breaking through on this siege, coming heavy on their right side. They don't have enough units to match me. I've got Guan Yu in a duel now with one of their generals. He has emerged victorious apparently. It looks like the other guy's going to flee. He does not want to fuck with Guan Yu. Guan Yu, known for being one of the greatest warriors in all of the Three Kingdoms. So nobody wants to mess with him too much, or for too long, as that guy found out. So he's gone. That's going to lower the leadership of his retinue, so his troops shouldn't last too much longer. We just got to try and get into these spearmen with our swordsmen. Try and get these archers inside, up on the walls. Got a couple of archer units there causing us problems. We need to go and get after those. Got a lot of them caught up here. Going to flank them a little bit. Start poking them down. And I think we're doing okay so far. Taking out that general is going to have helped. Let's see if we can get behind with this cavalry. I'd like to get some hammer and anvil on these little segments. Let's get Liu Bei into the action. He needs to do some killing. See a nice hammer opportunity here. Try and tie these up. Got Zhang Fei, get him around the back. They've kind of spread out now. I can't really charge them as I'd like, but this will do. Charge got a little bit disrupted by a fleeing unit, but still got some damage done. And this battle's a little bit of a mess. I'm trying to micro all over the place. Zhang Fei's on his horse. Let's get him off his horse. Let's have him fighting down on foot. I think he could do a little bit more damage. Dismount. Everyone's running away from him now. Here they come. Get off your horse, buddy. Oh, quick slap. Here he comes. Now, Zhang Fei is a vanguard champion, so he's better off fighting in crowds like this. This is where he really excels. He's not great for fighting other heroes with, unless you absolutely have to. He's going to be one for taking out the crowds. Guan Yu is one who is better at facing other heroes than he is fighting in crowds. And they can both kind of do the opposite role anyway, but just not as effectively as the role they're kind of designed to do. So you do want to try and find the best opportunities and places to apply them. We've broken through most of this front. Zhang Fei holding a couple of units there. And that's one tale of Zhang Fei you can read about in the Battle of Changban, where he... Actually, I'm not going to tell you. You can read about it. If you're interested, go and read about it. The Battle of Changban, Zhang Fei did some cool stuff. On a bridge, no less. I'm going to start trying to push towards this centre a bit more now. Let's get Liu Bei in there. Where's Guan Yu gone? Let's get him over here. Let's get everyone over here. Still got some archers on this left side we need to deal with. We can just chase them down with our archers. That should be enough. Start to get more of our forces over to make a push for the centre. Of course, we still have the control point in the centre that we can take to win, just like in all other Total Wars. There we go, Zhang Fei still on foot. Get Liu Bei in there. We are diving into spears on horses, which is a little bit dangerous, of course, but should be okay. These are pretty weak units. Oh, Liu Bei with a nice charge. In come his troops. He's going to stop them from counter-charging at least. I'll shut up for a minute and just let you admire the battle. Zhang Fei busting some heads there. Do need to micro the rest of these units though, so need to zoom out again. Let's get this cavalry around the back. What are they doing? They should be up in the center. Guan Yu still over here for some reason. Come on, buddy, catch up. Looking like a pretty solid victory here for us. So this has been some siege gameplay. Very much what we love about the sieges from the previous historical titles. And this is only a small city. There are cities and large cities as well. So there are going to be different ones that are going to be bigger, more grand, I guess. Maybe some unique locations. And we do have minor settlement battles. Again, just like the previous historical titles, they're back in the game. Little towns and farms that we can defend, get barricades up. All the good old classic Total War historical stuff. And we're nearly at the center now. Just pushing back the final units. Let's get everybody up. Zhang Fei, you should be up there, buddy. You need to scare everyone away. And as for the campaign gameplay itself, I'm sure there's plenty of other people putting up videos of that, so you can go and check them out if you want to see that stuff. What I will say is that it's pretty damn good. I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the diplomacy a bit more, which is a first for me in Total War, because normally I don't really like that stuff too much, and all the management stuff, but I am actually really enjoying it in Total War 3 Kingdoms. So this is shaping up maybe to be my favourite historical title. We shall see. We'll see how it progresses. I'm not sure how I feel about romance mode at the moment. I feel like I may prefer classic mode, where everything is like the older Total Wars and your generals are just units rather than these single overpowered monsters, which is cool in its own way. It makes it more like Warhammer, more fantasy, which I do like, but I also do like the old-fashioned historical Total War way. Zhang Fei and Guan Yu fight alongside each other here. The Sworn Brothers, as with Liu Bei, the Holy Trinity. They are absolutely chopping down these yellow turbans. So this has been the Siege of Dong. I hope this gives you a little insight into how sieges are going to be. To be honest, not a lot different from what we loved in the old historical Total War games. So I'm sure historical Total War purists will be pleased. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll have another video up about the heroes and how they all work together with the units and everything that synchronizes together with all the different hero types. I'll link that in the description, and I'll also put up a link to the Battle of Changban so you can check out what the hell Zhang Fei did and everyone else did in that battle. Historical stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the future.